There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to spotlight me and then I will spotlight Charlotte. Hey everybody, welcome to tonight's Whole Team Winning Call. Thank you so much for jumping on. We are very, 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 very excited tonight to be joined by the absolutely outstandingly enigmatic Charlotte Key. So I'm just going to mute everybody. If you could try and keep yourselves muted, it really would help me out from juggling everything. I'm also going to turn my own phone off that is beeping away there. I'm not going to talk at all because I want to get Charlotte on and get as much out of her as we can. So I'm just going to spotlight you. I can see you there, babe. 1 second. Hi. Oh, nice walk.
Hi. Are you okay?
I'm really good. How are you?
I'm good. A little bit nervous, a little bit flustered, but I'm fine. I'm all good.
You will be absolutely amazing as always. So, thank you so much for jumping on. I'm really, really grateful. First of all, I just wanted to say an absolutely massive, massive congratulations. Well done for 2 things. Number 1, for hitting your EMD reconfirmation and getting a phenomenal check this month, just a few days ago. I'm absolutely thrilled for you, but you've also hit EMD as well recently. So just massive congratulations. We're going to talk a little bit about your story, but I just wanted to say, while I get the chance in front of all of these people, like really, really proud of you. You're such a shining example of what is possible. Great upline, great team member, great distributor. You just have everything going for you. So really, really, really proud of you. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you so much. That's lovely. It means the world. It really does. Thank you.
You are welcome. Okay, so on that note, I would love it if you would share with us a little bit about your story. Tell us about Charlotte Key and tell us about why did you get involved with the company and what's it been like for you for the past few years?
I'm struggling to hear, just bear with me. Can you hear me okay? Because it's really jittery. I don't know if it's my Wi-Fi. I'm not sure if to pop it on 4G. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you okay. Mine's a little bit tinny, so I'm going to mute myself.
It's just breaking up a little bit for me, and I missed what you initially said then, Emma. What did you ask me to, what did you want to know? What did you say?
So just tell us a little bit about you, your story, why you got involved with the company and what it's done for you over the last few years.
Yeah. Okay. So a little bit about me. So I initially joined the business in 2013. So almost 7 years ago now, which I actually can't believe that I've been involved for that long. I've literally loved every single minute of it. I initially joined just to earn an extra couple of £100 a month. I got involved through a friend, and my life was so different then to what it is now. So I was 27 at the time. My life kind of wasn't how I envisaged it to be. So I'm sure a lot of you were like this. So when I was in my early 20s, I thought, yeah, when I'm 27, I'll have 2.4 kids. I'll have a career, you know.
I think we might have lost her after all that. Hold on 1 second.
I'm back.
Oh, you're back. I was like, don't go now.
Did you hear any of that?
Just, you got 27 and you thought you'd have 2.5.
Okay. So I've switched my Wi-Fi off, so hopefully it might work now. Let's go again. So yeah, life just kind of wasn't how I envisaged it to be. I was absolutely skinned. I'd just come out of a long-term relationship. I was struggling with money. I was working as a recruitment consultant, so I had a decent job, but life just wasn't what I expected it to be. I also had a second job, and I was just kind of like existing and like, can you hear me still? Yeah, you can hear me. I was just kind of like bumbling along in life, and I just kind of expected a little bit more. I was working really hard, but I don't know if a lot of you can relate to this, but I felt like I was doing a lot for a little in return. And I just kind of thought, is this it? Is this what my life's all about? So I had a full-time job working, you know, contracted 40 hours a week, but I always did more. I had a second job doing club promotions up and down the country. And I was just shattered. And I just thought, like, I want more from life. I was a little bit limited on my skill set. You know, I didn't go to university or anything like that. So I was just kind of like a little bit stuck with what to do. A friend introduced me to the business. initially I
Will
was
you be
very
all right?
much like,
Yeah.
no, I'm not going to do it. It's not for me. And then I watched her for a little while and I thought, do you know what? She's doing incredible. Like, if she can do that, why can't I do that as well? And I needed something else. So at that point in my life, I'd just come out of a long-term relationship. I was actually renting a room. I didn't live in a house. I was renting a room to try and save some money. So I thought, do you know what? If this business can help me to do that, then I'm sort of game. Like, I'm game for some extra cash. Kind of was very skeptical when I joined. I went along to an event, and it was just in Bradford, in my hometown, and John Holowati was there, and we all know John, right? And he was stood at the front, and you know, he's so unassuming, he's just so normal, so humble, and he was just talking about his earnings per month, and I was just like, this is just crazy. And from that day on, I literally thought, like, I felt like Willy Wonka with a golden ticket. I thought, why is everybody not like doing this? So I skipped out of the room and I thought, that's it, blinkers on. And from there, the rest is history. So I literally went boom, 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 promotion, 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 month in, month out. Now, that's not to say that that's what will happen for you. Obviously, it's a different time from 2013, but that's what happened for me. And I hit NMD in 6 months, IMD in 7 months, and it's just changed my life as a business. To say I joined to earn a couple of £100 a month, it's absolutely, you know, exceeded all my expectations. After a couple of months, I was earning what I was earning in my full-time job, and then that's when the cogs started turning a little bit for me. I started to think, like, because I never joined to have it as my livelihood, but I started to think like why not? I'd got a free trip to go to Arizona for hitting NMD within the time that I joined the business, and I couldn't go because I couldn't get the time off work. And then that's when I started thinking, like, oh, I don't know. I don't own my own life. I get told when to go, when I can have a wee, when I can go on my lunch. And I started thinking then, like, maybe I don't want to do this anymore. So me being me, I'm a little bit of a safe Sally. And I was like, oh God, what if it drops? What if it doesn't work out? And at this point, I'd just got my mortgage on my first house, which that's literally like was all I wanted. Before that, it was like a pipe dream. So that's the initial thing that the business did for me. So I thought, I'll wait for my mortgage to go through, and then I might leave. And then I went to Barcelona, and I just thought, do you know what? I'm not doing this anymore. So I got back from Barcelona with the Juice Plus company, and that Monday I handed in my notice. So yeah, so it's just literally been incredible for me. To say I joined for £200 a month, left my corporate job after 12 months, which, like I say, I could have left a bit sooner, but safe Sally over here, just wanted to make sure. I got my first house, which is a lovely little cottage, and I renovated it, which for me, that itself would have been enough for me. That property now I rent out. I've now live in this house, which is a 5-bed detached. I've got the car of my dreams. I'm very girly, but I'm a bit of a tomboy. And this is all I've done. Like, this is literally all I've done. Retired, if you like, at 28, and it's just literally been incredible. So yeah, very, very grateful. So yeah, that's just a little bit about me, I guess.
Amazing. What a hell of a 7 years. I love that. And I think it's really important. Yeah, it's really important because some people are. Some people are, you look at this, trying to keep computed, it's really hard. Sometimes the people like are, you know, thinking that they have to change, you know, they have to give everything up, or they have to sacrifice loads of things, or they're worried about balancing everything. But your life's changed quite a lot over those 7 years, your personal life and your business life. So tell us a little bit about like what was going on then and what's going on now.
So when I joined, I was literally single Pringle, and what drew me into the business was the community. So I've always had a really close group of friends, but they were at a different stage in life to me. They were sort of married, had kids, and I really enjoyed the social side of this business. So whether it was the fun, the friendships, obviously we've travelled all over, and it's just been a really amazing journey for me from start to finish. I feel like I've kind of grown up in this business, whereas now, like, I'm a mum, so life's different. But like whatever you've got going on, whether you've got a full-time job, which I did initially, you're footloose, fancy free, you know, you've got family, whatever you are, you can do the business. It just adapts around you. So my little boy actually went 1 on Sunday. So I guess like in a normal world, I'd have been on maternity leave now. And during my maternity leave, if you like, I've just hit IMD and EMD, which is just crazy. So like it does fit around family life. Like so many people say to me, oh, I don't have the time. And I just think you really do. Like we've all got the same 24 hours in a day. And you know, you just fit it into the nooks and crannies. You don't have to make crazy sacrifices. It just works. So yeah, I just can't recommend it enough.
So tell us a little bit. I want to kind of talk to you a little bit about some of your successes and some of your struggles, and I get a little bit real with some of the things. So over 7 years, obviously, lots of ups, lots of downs. So tell us a little bit. What would you consider to be some of your biggest successes, and how did you make them happen?
So I'd say my biggest success personally for me was being able to buy my own first property. Like I never thought that would be possible. Like from rented room to being able to get my own house as a single person was literally like my personal success. I think business success was to achieve the IMD in 7 months. But I didn't actually reconfirm until a couple of months ago, which a lot of people probably don't know. So it actually took me, 5 years to reconfirm? But I'm just so glad that I stuck with it. So for me, that's probably been one of my, 1,000,000% my biggest success. So I've always had a really incredible business, but Terry Brown is under me, and all you amazing lot. And so my business, because Terry's business is like a monster leg, it's always been such a big leg for me. So to try and build to balance it out, so if you envisage a seesaw, my business at one point was literally like that, and I was like, so it's always been insane. It's always paid me incredibly well, and I'm really grateful to have Terry and her team. I really am. But it's not always been sort of easy to sort of claw back a little bit of balance. So I feel like I'm there. I'm finally there with it. So yeah, I think that's definitely my biggest business success, I'd say.
And looking back on that, because a lot of people have that, I think, where they're maybe a little bit wonky on legs, have one really big leg, and that can happen if you really focus on building one leg and forget that you actually need width in your business. So if you could go back and kind of maybe do anything differently around that, would there have been anything that you would have done differently so that you didn't have that kind of imbalance through your business?
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, I would always recommend initially build 5 wide, 5 deep, and then once you've got that 5 wide and you're solid, go another 5. So like obviously the goal would initially be 5 and then go 10 wide. So it's just a constant cycle of recruitment, just to keep you balanced out. And it doesn't always go like that, but I would always say try and build as evenly as possible, because I hate the word stuck, but you kind of can get like that. For me, it was never really, I just kept going, and I just loved it. And the thing for me is I've always had an amazing paycheck. So even though, so this month was a first bonus I've had since my NMD bonus, like which was 6 months after I joined, but my paycheck's just been absolutely unreal, month after month. So I can't grumble with that at all. So yeah. Can
you tell us what you just got paid out of curiosity?
So on the 10th this month, I got almost £25,000. So literally, how crazy is that?
Well,
absolutely crazy.
It is, but it's real money and it's in the bank for everybody. I always say this business is like deal or no deal, and you know what number the box is, right? You just got to go get it. It's there for everybody with their name on it. You just got to go and get it. So, and I guess loads of people wouldn't. I know you've been paid really well every month, but you've worked all the time too, right? You never just sat on your laurels. And some people would have done that. Some people would have thought, you know what, I'm earning 5 to 10 grand a month. I could just sit on that and not try and go and get, you know, IMD bonus and EMD and PMD. What was it that kept you going and kept you building for like 5 years? Is a long time to wait to get a bonus, isn't it? After having hit everything so quickly at the beginning. So what was it that kept you going? What kept you moving always?
I think for me, it's always having that vision and knowing why you're doing this business. I think it's so important to know why you're doing this business, because this business isn't always easy, but I just think, like, choose your hard. I worked hard in my corporate job. I worked 60 hours a week for very, very minimal. I worked in a high pressure environment. It was very stressful. And then I'd go home and then I'd work 4 or 5 nights a week. And, you know, I'd either work 11 till 3, or sometimes till 4 o'clock in the morning. Like, I was a shop girl, so I was like in the clubs up and down the country, like, oh my God, is this my life? And then I'd be back up at 6. So that was hard work. This business is not hard. It's just, all you're doing is talking to people, networking, like posting on social media. It's not hard. So yeah, so for me, it's just an absolute no-brainer. Like, I've got all the time freedom, you know, in the world. Like, a lot of, so like I say, I've got a 12-month-old son now, and like, I went to like the antenatal classes, and I kept in touch with a lot of those girls, and now those girls are like mortified because they're going back to work, and because the maternity leave's ending, and obviously it's been a crap maternity but with the whole COVID situation, and they feel a little bit cheated out of it. Whereas for me, it's not even on my radar. So it's not hard. It's like, it's just knowing what you want out of life. And for me, it's just having time. So I think for me, the goal wasn't necessarily money. It's just been time and having that time freedom. So I think that's what's been the driver for me.
It's amazing, really, and I think it's such an amazing, inspiring example of the benefits, not just the financial benefits, but the personal benefits of just staying focused and staying in line all the time. I want to focus on that a little bit. Like, there's lots of distractions in our business over the years and in our lives all the time. So how important do you think it's been for you to stay focused over the years? And I know at one point, obviously, probably exactly 5 years ago now, in your business in particular, you lost your direct uplines. They went to another business, tried to get you to go as well. And that can be very distracting, very unsettling. Like, how did you get through that? And how important is it to make sure that you stay focused on your own goals and your own journey?
Starve those distractions. The grass is not greener. I just feel very grateful and very humble that I stuck with it, you know. So like Emma said, when not long after I joined, everybody around me was super successful, and they all decided to go to a different company, which for me, it was never an option. Like, I absolutely love the company. I absolutely love the business. I could never go on to love another business or products. You kind of look a little bit like a Del Boy. So for me, it was never a goer. I was never, yeah. So I would just say, don't look left, don't look right. You know, Reebok doesn't worry about what Adidas is doing. Just stay in lane, stay in line, and just keep focused. Like, ninja focus is key. And yeah, so I just use situations to fuel me, I think. So I think the most frustrating thing for me is a lot of people have excuses in the business. And I kind of use things, like I say, to fuel me forwards rather than to get distracted by things. So regardless of what's going on in my business life, what's going on in my personal life, I just bat it all off, you know. I had quite a lot of distractions when I was going for IMD and EMD, and I needed full focus. So I actually took it's quite a dramatic step, and you don't have to go this far, but I said to my mum, I'm moving in with you. I need some help with Joey. I'm going to come live with you so you can help me out. So for me, it's just so important. Like, you just have to starve the distractions. And yeah, excuses don't wash. You can kind of, in our business, you can make excuses or sort of make moves, I guess. And for me, it's all about making the moves. So yeah.
And absolutely, like, I think as well that it can be easy to get your head turned by other things. It can be easy to get distracted in your personal life and your business life. But like, now, having stayed in line all of this time and been working all this time, how grateful are you, or how happy are you that you made the right decision and decided, you know, that to not listen to anybody that might have told you that other things, or that it was better somewhere else? Like, what was the right decision for you?
Oh, honestly, it's the best feeling ever. I can't help but feel, I'm a softie, so I can't help but feel sorry for people. But for me, I'm juice plus through and through, and like the grass isn't greener, and if you think it's greener, it's probably fake. So you know, even the thought of doing two, I get loads of people saying, oh, I'm gonna do this one and this one, and you know, I always like the analogy of, can you make an omelette and scrambled egg at the same time? You absolutely can't. It ends up scrambled egg. It doesn't work. You can only, you know, it's the same concept, so you just can't do two things. I think John always says, can you brush your teeth and brush your hair at the same time? It's kind of, it doesn't really work. So yeah, for me, I think, you know, we've got an incredible business, which is massively lucrative, and obviously, like, we have got we've got something that a lot of people need right now. Obviously, we've got an incredible product that, you know, can show that it can help to support a healthy immune system. We're going through a worldwide pandemic. Business is absolutely insane. So if you're not like running with our business, I just think you're absolutely nuts. So obviously, you know, we've stood the test of time. We're not new. We've got all the experience. So yeah, for me, it's just an absolute no-brainer. Just run to the high hills with this opportunity.
So other than that, like over the years, what do you think you would say has been your biggest struggle? What's been the thing that you've had to really dig deep and get over? You know, because Rachel's saying there that, you know, you're really focused and you're like a machine, which I know you are. You're like you know, but you quietly get on with it. You never make a big fuss about anything. I've never heard you be negative or anything about anything ever, really. You're really solid, always very solid. But what's been the biggest struggle that you've had to get past, do you think, that other people might come across?
I think for me, initially it was, I think I probably struggled with recruitment in the beginning, which obviously was a massive issue for me. And obviously because I was trying to balance out my business, I think probably I didn't focus on recruitment as much as I should have done from the beginning. So obviously the tables have turned now with that. I've always been able to build an incredible customer base, so now I just sort of fish from there. So yeah, I think probably recruitment was the biggest struggler for me initially, and maybe even sort of mindset. I think mindset is crucial. You have to sort of gain new skills and do self-development, because whether you think you can or you can't, you're right and you're halfway there. So a lot of it does come down to sort of mindset and things like that. So I'm massive now. So every single month I do I don't know if I've named it this, I call it like a criticism wheel. And it's just a circle. I divide it into 8 and I label each segment, and I like write down in there gaining customers, returning customers, gaining team members, training team members, self-development, various other bits and pieces. And then I'll grade myself, like, it's only for my eyes only, so I'll grade myself like 0 to 10. And then what I do is the 2 that I score myself the least on, I'll really get to work on those 2 segments that month. So you're naturally then always kind of leveling yourself up. So I think you've just got to be really, really disciplined and your own biggest critic, I guess, in this business. You know, rather than being one of the people that are sort of saying, yeah, I'm doing that, yeah, I'm doing that, I'm doing everything, like there's obviously something that you're not, and that's fine, but it's just about sort of being honest, and then you just have to have a growth mindset, I guess, and just be open to learning and kind of pushing yourself that little bit more. So yeah, so that's something that works really, really well for me.
I love that. I've never heard that before. Criticism wheel. It's very, you know what's good about that, and it kind of sums up who you are as well. It's a very humble thing to do, because it shows that you're always, you know, you always need to learn, and we always need to learn. We always need to be growing. And I heard, I think it was Bob Burdick said once, if you're the most successful person in the room, then you're in the wrong room. And I think it's a similar sort of thing, right? It's like if you're the best person on the call, you're on the wrong call. You need to be on the one with the other people on. So it's, I think that's such a good, I might get you to write, just to send me those over, because I know you said them really quickly, and you'll be like, what did she say they were? But you can make up your own, I guess. It's where, how you see areas that you need to grow in. I love that. I think it's brilliant. And probably a good thing to get your team to do as well, I bet.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I love that. So what would you say are the qualities that people need for long-term success? So we've had a really amazing 6 months in the business. We've had loads of growth. Lots of people in the call now will be pretty much in their first 6 months or first 12 months in the business. So it's hard to believe that, you know, you and I are heading into, you know, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. We're almost like the oldies to a certain extent now. So like, what would you say are the qualities or the skills that people need to be able to have long-term success? Because ultimately we all want that, don't we? I want to be paid by this business until I'm put in a box, whenever that might be, right? So how do you get long-term success? What qualities do you need?
I think you need vision. You really need vision. And I would say so I've got my vision board here, which is always on my windowsill in my office. So I think so when people first started telling me to do these vision boards, I just thought it was if I'm honest, I thought it was mumbo jumbo. I thought it was a load of rubbish, but literally, I think I can tick every single thing off there that I've done for this year. So I'd say you need to have vision, whether it's a vision board or whatever. I'm not the most creative, so you don't need to spend loads of time, but have vision. Success doesn't happen overnight, and business is business. It never, although it'd be amazing, it never goes in a straight line. So it will go up, it'll go down, it'll go up, it'll go down. And it's a little bit like being on the Big Dipper, but that's absolutely fine. Like, you know, so have vision, work hard. I always say be the hardest working person in your team. Always show up. Like, for me, it's not about having days off. It's about turning up to work every single day, being consistent. I think that's probably the main thing in this business, being consistent. So I get so many people all the time that say to me, like I'm their boss, I'm so sorry I've not been in touch, or I've not posted, like my fish died or whatever, and you know, very sad about that. But I'm not your boss. Like, you have to develop an entrepreneur mindset, and I definitely didn't have that initially. But you're not employees, so it's about sort of taking the bull by the horns and owning it, and just doing what the hell you want to do with this business. Be disciplined, make sacrifices, do whatever you need to do. Now, you don't, like I say, when I joined the business, my life was very different, so I didn't have commitments. But I remember I would finish my day job and then I'd sit in my car, eat my tea, have my shake, and then I'd drive to an event. Like, because for me, like the events and things like that, you need them. It's like these calls, and I know, Emma, you say a lot, like you need to feel the warmth from the fire, and it's so true. You have to feel the warmth, because if you're just independent and just doing what I call posting and praying, that's not enough. Like, that's not going to get you to the big goals and see the bigger picture. So it's really important to you know, to be utilizing all the things that are available, because literally we've got so much now. When me and Emma joined back in the day, we used to have one training call on a Friday night, and it was an 0800 number. Like, my phone bill's like 25 quid, like every time we used to get on. Like, that was dedication to the cause. And like now, like, there's so many calls, we've got everything and more that we could want. Like, the business has never been easier. So yeah, just really make the most of everything and gain skills. So when I joined the business, I would probably say, like, I didn't gain the skills that I needed, because my business went probably maybe too quick for me, because I was quite shy and quite immature. I didn't gain the skills that I needed, and very quickly my business came back down. So I'd say gain skills as you go in. It's really, really important, because you need to gain skills to be able to teach your team. So study, practice, teach. So yeah, so I think they're probably the things that I would recommend for long-term success.
That. And one of the things you said there was be the hardest worker in your team, and I know that you've got an amazing team, and they all absolutely love you. There's loads of like love for you in the chat there. But I've always, whenever I look at the leaderboards and the customer recruitment boards, you're always on there. Like, and you know, there's 2,000 people in the team, and you're always on there in terms of, you know, in terms of the customers every month, high up there in the top like 15 people out of the whole team. So you definitely do lead by example, and I can really vouch for that. Like, I can see what you do.
Thank you.
And it's true, people do what we do, they don't do what we say, and you've always done that. I don't think there's ever been a time really where you've kind of just disappeared off the radar for a little while. I also loved what you said there about posting and praying. So many people just post and pray at the beginning, so it leads me on a little bit to one of the questions about how you get a new person started. I think at the beginning that is something that people do, which is post and hope. to post and praise. How do you move somebody from posting and hoping to actually, because you're great at bringing through new senior partners, you're one of the people that's probably the best at that. So how do you get somebody from posting and praying to actually creating a business?
So for me, when I get a newbie, I treat them like my newborn baby. Honestly, I really do. Like, you know, when you first get that baby in your arms, and you've just got to give people the time. You've got to instill that confidence in them. You've got to instill that time in them. And I always say to give people a firm 30 days. After that, you kind of get a feel for what people are going to be like. There's a really good book called How to Create Independent Leaders, and it's not necessarily about how to create independent leaders, but it teaches you about like how to work with people, and it's like setting them little tasks and little things. And if you say, right, I want you to watch this, and then they come back at you and like, I've done it, like you kind of know where you're going. Like I just match people's effort. So, you know, if people then give me 10%, I do that. If they give me 100%, I'll give them 110%. So for me, what I do is I've got a new starter guide. I send that on to them. I get them to complete some questions so that I know exactly what they want from the business. There's no point in me pushing and pushing and pushing if they just want to earn, you know, a little steady income a month. So it's about finding a little bit out about them, you know, making friends with them, knowing a little bit about them. Obviously, I direct them to your call, Emma, your new starter call, but I also do an induction call, and I try and do that within 24 to 48 hours of getting them signed up. And then I don't move them on until I've done that part, because if they can't do that part, then I can't really teach them anything. And I think before, when I had recruited, I'd add them to the groups, I'd send them this, I'd send them that, and it was too much, it was overwhelming. So I just think I just drip feed them at the speed and at the pace that they're happy to go at. And yeah, so that's literally where I go. And then I just say, if they want to run, I run, and if they want to go slow and steady, that's absolutely fine. It doesn't matter what pace. I'll just go at the same speed as they want to.
I think that's really key, and I love that. It's like meeting people where they're at, isn't it? Like not everybody wants to win a race, not everybody wants to be the marathon runner. Some people just want to do a half marathon, some people want to do a sprint, and it's so important whether you're, you know, whether you're bringing in one person or 100 people, that you go at the pace that they're ready to go at. So it's amazing. Thank you for that. We're nearly running out of time, but unfortunately, we've got about 5 minutes left. So I would love it if you would share with us. People always ask, what's your DMO? So I don't even know if you have a DMO. Is it something you can follow? What is it? What do you recommend people actually do on a daily?
So I do have a DMO, and I swear by my DMO. So I say to my team, I'm always banging on about DMO. So I always say to my team, all you need is a strong social media presence, a strong DMO, a hit list, and a grid. Literally, that's for me, that's all you need. You don't need to overcomplicate it, just these 4 things. So a few things from my DMO. I literally, obviously, post religiously every day. So I post on my Facebook. Everybody's different, but for me, I post every 2 hours. I find a balance between me and subtle product posts and business posts, and I just kind of mingle it, and I kind of do one about me, one about something, one about me, and kind of mix it up like that. And I try and tell like a little bit of a story as I go along my day. So that's how I kind of work that. I post on my story every day. I post on my Instagram story, and I connect it to my Facebook, so it's done in one fell swoop. I make sure that I do a poll every single day. So this is where a lot of inquiries come from for me, doing the polls. I add people every day, so I probably add 20 or 30 people. I join groups. I join groups of interest. So I've got dogs, so I join dog groups, because you want to find people like you. So people like you, you probably get on with, you know, if you join your team and things like that. So I join groups of interest, and then I join what I call clever groups as well. So things like mummy groups, which I am interested in as well, but I am more than just a mum. But mummy groups are fantastic, because obviously, without generalising, a lot of mums want to lose baby weight, they don't want to go back to work, they might want an income boost. I join groups like that. I also join skin groups, and I don't post in there, but later on I'll add some of the members, and then later on that day I'll post a skin testimonial. So it's just about working smarter rather than harder. I interact every day, so I very, very rarely spend time on my newsfeed. I'm always either posting or I'm in my inbox. I think this is where a lot of people go wrong, they're scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. I'll spend a couple of minutes like mornings, couple of minutes afternoon, couple of minutes evening, liking and commenting. So the key things are add, post, interact. So that's the three, like a triangle that I bang on about day in, day out to my lot. I chase likes. So on a morning when I do my DMO, I'll go back through yesterday's posts and I'll have a look and I'll be like, are these any good or not? And again, your own biggest critic, and I'll think, bit wishy-washy yesterday, right? You need to up your game a little bit. But I will chase likes. So anyone that's liked a post, whatever it is, I'll pop them a DM and I'll just start having a little conversation with them. So for me, it's all about conversation. So I reckon I do a minimum of 30 conversations a day. So if it's a happy birthday message, I'll do it a private message in an inbox because it often leads on to like a little conversation. So for me, it's about, the person that speaks the most wins kind of thing. So it's not, I've never in my whole 7 years sent a cold message. So I've never sent any sort of form of spam. I just engage with people. And then off the back of that, very often you get people saying, oh, I've been meaning to ask you, what are these shakes? Or tell me about this business opportunity. You're doing really well. So I swear by conversations. I post in my customer group. I set little tasks for my team throughout the day. Self-development for me is key. Something every day, whether it's I'm sat reading a book, which very rare these days, but I have something on in the background, whether I'm driving or like Carrie Green, Tony Robbins, Sarah Robbins, I'll just have it on in the background and some of it seeps in, which is fantastic. And then follow up. The key for me is follow up 50 times if you need to. It's absolutely fine. So they're just a few little bits and pieces from my DMO.
Amazing. There's no comments while you were talking because everyone's like writing them down. Just a quick one. That sounds like a lot, right? But like, do you do this 24/7? Obviously, you've got a baby as well. How do you fit it all in?
So, well, when I joined the business, it was very different because I had a full-time job. So I'd do a little bit on a morning, then I did a bit on my dinner hour, and then I'd do a little bit on an evening. So it was very much staggered. Whereas now, my little human alarm clock tends to work anywhere from 5 o'clock. So all I'll do, I'll have a power few hours, but in and amongst. And another thing that I do, I haven't got my diary, it's like my Bible. So my diary, I have a page every day, and I don't set myself tasks to do every day or lists because I think that can be overwhelming, but I just jot down. If anyone read my diary, it looks like the Da Vinci Code. They'd think, what on earth is this woman writing about? But I just write down like Team Shaki, done this, done that, and I just like document everything that I've done so then I can see if I've done enough. So I kind of just keep adding to it as the day goes on. So I might do my happy birthdays, and then like a little bit later I'll do something else, but I kind of just get it done like throughout the day. Sometimes I do more in the morning, sometimes, you know, it doesn't always go according to plan, does it? You know, your day and things, and you know, people work. So yes, as long as it's done, I'm happy. So it doesn't matter sort of how, it's just done is better than pending.
Absolutely, and done is better than perfect as well, right? I think that's the other thing. Sometimes we've got to cut ourselves some slack and go, just get it done, even if it's not perfect. It's okay. It's better than not done. On that note, actually, just before I move on to our final question, I just want to let you guys know that Claire Black does a power hour straight after this call on the same call. You don't have to dial out. Just stay on if you want to do it. It's absolutely fantastic. If you want to do a power hour, get some action done before you go to bed or before your night carries on, just stay on this call at the end and Claire will just jump on and take it over to do that. I've done it a couple of times and it's brilliant. So Charlotte, I'm really, 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 really grateful for your time tonight and all of your golden nuggets. I've literally made tons of notes. But I just want to finally ask you, like, what are your 3 success tips? Because you know, you've politely been around the block a few times, you've seen lots of people come and go in, you've seen lots of customers come and go, team members come and go, uplines come and go, and you've always stuck with it, and you really are now reaping the benefits of that, and I'm so incredibly proud of you. It's such a privilege to work with you. What are your 3 success tips for somebody who's just starting out and for somebody who really needs to know why they need to stick with it?
Okay, so short and sweet, know your why. Know why you are doing this business. That will drag you through. So even on days then when you think, I can't be bothered, or this is happening or that's happening, like, always know your why. Your why will change over time, and that's fine, but always know your why, because that will give you the will. Self-belief is massive. Like, if you think you can or you can't, you're right. So if you've no self-belief, then you need to get to work with your self-belief and start reading and doing all these kinds of things. And then the third thing is work ethic. Like, Rome wasn't built in a day. Trust the process. You know, a lot of people will say, oh, well, I've posted a few times and I'm not really getting anything. Like, there's a lot more involved than just sort of posting. You know, but what I'd say is it's the same opportunity for everybody. The only variable is you. So you absolutely can. And if something isn't working, just mix it up. It really doesn't matter. You know, people like saying to me this month, oh, I'm having a really poor month. That's fine. Like, mix it up, and you know, you can turn a bad day or a bad month into a good month at any point. So you just need to keep changing things and tweaking it, but just never feel stuck, because obviously we've got all the support and helping that, you know, in the world. So yeah, my little top tips. Oh, Emmy muted.
I've just realised I'm chatting away to myself there. Yeah, amazing. Like, I think just to recap those, it was know your why. It will change over time, which it does. Having massive self-belief, but the one that you said there that I love the most is trust the process and work ethic. The two go together, right? You don't plant a seed in the garden and stand watching it going, it's not growing, it's not growing, it's not growing. You don't see what happens. Then one day you've got a beautiful flower. You've really got to just trust the process and do the work. And you are an absolute fantastic example of that. Thank you so much, Charlotte, for all of those tips, all of those learnings, for taking the time out to do that. You know, everybody who talks on these calls, you don't have to do it. They do it because we want to help you guys to grow your businesses, to have success, to achieve everything that you can achieve with this business. And just know that, like, exactly like Charlotte, you're in the right company with the right product at the right time, and it's so exciting what's ahead for us. Like, the last 5-10 years have been exciting. The next 5 to 10 are going to be off the scale. So I am mega excited for what's ahead for all of us, for you especially right now, Charlotte, but for everybody on the call as well. So thank you so much for everything.
Thank you.
I'm going to stop the recording. If you could, Charlotte, love in the chat.
Thank you for having me.
It was an absolute pleasure. I'm just going to stop the recording.